to go from developing their niche skill to be a manager, to be able to manage a team. So I would expect that they might be very technically versed, but they need to develop themselves in being a manager so that they can coach and start managing a team.
I think it's the important decision for a financial accountant to make when they leave practice or when they first qualify is what do I enjoy about my role, and what do I see coming next? And then once they've got that understanding, I would then advise them to find the roles that will support the development in that space. So if they, as a financial accountant, they involve the actual preparation of the accounts but didn't involve any of the technical side of it or the tax element, then I would move them more towards maybe the business partnering or the production of the accounts and that type of role.
Trying to see the bigger picture. So it's easy to look at what your work colleagues are doing within the finance department, but if you want to progress within finance, really, you need to look at the bigger picture. So I'd try and say, okay, spend some time meeting with other managers within the business, trying to understand what the business strategy is, speak to salespeople, try and speak to some customers, try and understand the overall direction that the business is headed and how you can help.
You need to really focus on value-adding activities. We all know what we do on a day-to-day basis and what's required of us, but how can we do that better? How can we improve that? How can we challenge ourselves and not just stick to the status quo?
I think they need to focus on the detail of their day-to-day and try to do, wherever possible, link that into their professional studies. Combining the two, the day-to-day of their work and their professional studies will ultimately lead to their career progression.
What role do they want in the longer term? I mean, it doesn't really matter what the answer is, but some people at that level, they say, I'm quite happy at this level and I just want to do my job, come in at 8:30, leave at 5, just get it done. And that's absolutely fine. Others say that they want, to do more, progress, do exams. And I think, understanding that just means that you can kind of give them a better environment really in which to work and hopefully meet what they want.
Having thought about it, I think for me, key things that are very important. Number one, networking. I think it's undervalued by a lot of people still, but it's really, really important. I think you're networking. Clearly at the moment, or I should say in the last 15, 16 months, that's been very difficult because of the pandemic and the restrictions. But now that things are actually opening up, it's a perfect opportunity for you to be networking. And you would do that through the online tools that you have, such as LinkedIn, but also going to networking events, physically meeting people, introducing yourself, collecting people's cards, because you never know when you're going to need to contact that person. If you make a good impression, you never know, you might actually get offered a job at some point in the future. So that's very important. I think the other thing that's really important for career progression, you've got to keep up to date with what's going on with the economy, what's happening in the business world. You're a finance professional. It's very important you understand the macroeconomic context of the business you're working for.
I'd say make a note of all the good things you've done and sort of like tell your manager what you've done, highlight them, don't be shy. You need to sell yourself a little bit because people forget. But if you could say, oh, I did this, people tend to remember.
My piece of advice there would be, how can you add more value to the role? How can you add more value to the company that you're working for? So sort of a very good example, if you are involved in preparing a cash flow forecast, maybe you're doing the whole thing, or maybe you're doing an element of it on behalf of someone more senior. You should be thinking proactively ahead. What is the objective in doing this exercise? It's not just about putting in actuals, for example. You've got to be thinking ahead and thinking, well, the purpose of this cash flow forecast is to understand how much runway the business has.